The ship was dying, air thinning, lights flickering. And yet, the human inside refused to quit. Captain Aaron Holt had seen death 100 times, but never like this. When his vessel crashed into an uncharted world of glowing skies and living stone, he thought it was the end. Instead, it was the beginning of something forbidden, something legendary. Because on that alien world, a princess looked into his eyes and asked, "Do you desire me as your wife, human?" And he whispered, "Yes." If that opening made your heart skip, you're exactly where you should be. This is one of the most breathtaking HFY stories ever told, a tale of love, courage, and the defiance of destiny itself. So before we dive deeper, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and share this story with every sci-fi lover you know. Trust me, you won't forget this one. The ship drifted through the void like a wounded bird, sparks crackling along its hull. Inside, Captain Aaron Holt sat slumped in the pilot's chair, the last human heartbeat in a dying machine. Oxygen was thinning, systems failing, but his spirit, that stubborn human fire, refused to die. He whispered into the silence, "Just one planet, any planet," and the universe answered. A faint beep from the scanner cut through the static. A blue-green world shimmered beneath twin suns, unnamed, unmarked. He grinned faintly, half in disbelief. Good enough. With shaking hands, he guided the ship toward it. The descent was chaos, alarms blaring, hull screaming until the world's silver cloud swallowed him whole. Then, impact. Darkness. When Aaron opened his eyes, he wasn't in the wreckage. He lay on a glowing floor, surrounded by armored figures. Their eyes gleamed like molten silver. One pressed a spear to his chest. "Do not move, creature!" Then came the voice, calm, commanding, and somehow musical. "Let him breathe." The guards parted, and she appeared, radiant, ethereal, eyes like stars. "I am Princess Yria of Valara," she said. "You, human, have fallen upon sacred ground." Aaron's throat was dry, his voice barely a whisper. "My ship, it crashed. I didn't mean to intrude." Princess Yria studied him in silence. Her skin glowed softly beneath the twin suns streaming through crystal walls. "Few have crossed into our domain and lived," she said. Her tone held caution and curiosity. She turned to her guards. "Take him to the healers. I will decide his fate after he recovers." Days passed like fragments of a dream. The palace felt alive, its walls pulsing faintly, breathing with light. Alien healers used glowing stones that hummed with his heartbeat. And when Yria returned, he was tinkering with a small orb, broken and lifeless. Within minutes, it flickered back to life. The guards panicked, but Yria raised a hand. "You repaired it." Aaron smiled faintly. "It wasn't hard. You use quantum resonance. I've seen something similar. In human tech." Her silver eyes widened slightly. "You understand Valaran design?" "Not really," he said. "Machines speak the same way everywhere." For the first time, she smiled. It was small, but real. Perhaps, she thought, this human wasn't as simple as he looked. And for the first time, Aaron wondered, was he still a prisoner or something else entirely? The violet skies above Aura shimmered with two suns, painting the palace gardens in light and shadow. Yria walked beside Aaron, her gown flowing like liquid silver, the air thick with the scent of glowing flowers. "Our world is dying," she said softly. "The star core that gives Aura life is fading. When it fails, everything you see will vanish." Aaron listened, his gaze distant but steady. "Maybe I can help." Her eyes turned sharp. "You would risk your life for a world not your own?" He shrugged lightly. "If I can fix something, I do. That's what I do." She stared at him, this fragile, stubborn creature of flesh and dust. and found something new in his eyes, something her people, for all their power, had long forgotten: defiance against the impossible. The next day she brought him before her father, King Vareth. The hall was carved from living crystal, the air humming with ancient power. "You wish to repair the core," the king's voice thundered. "If you fail, it will destroy us all." Aaron bowed slightly. "Or save you." Vareth's gaze hardened. "You have 3 cycles, human. Succeed, or die with our world." Aaron met his eyes and nodded. "Fair enough." Deep beneath the palace, the star core roared like a living heart. Valoran engineers stood frozen in fear, afraid to touch their sacred machine. But Aaron, he dove straight into the chaos. He tore open panels, crawled through molten vents, and patched conduits that glowed with deadly heat. Yria often watched from above, torn between awe and terror. "If this thing explodes," he joked once, "tell your father I tried." Her lips curved faintly. "If it does, I'll tell him you succeeded in spirit." Then it happened. An explosion shook the chamber. Energy bolts tore through the air. Aaron grabbed Yria, shielding her with his own body as plasma ripped past. When the smoke cleared, his arm was burned, his voice trembling. "You okay?" She touched his cheek, her hand trembling. "You risked your life for me." He smiled weakly. "Habit, I guess." That night she came to him in silence. The stars shimmered through the window, and her voice was softer than light. "Among my people, surviving death together binds 2 souls. I must ask you something." He swallowed hard. "Ask." Her silver eyes glowed. "Do you desire me as your wife, human?" Aaron froze, and then whispered, "Yes." By dawn, the palace was a storm of whispers. The forbidden words had spread. A human had spoken love to the heir of Valara. Yria's father summoned him before the court, fury blazing in his silver eyes. "You dare claim my daughter?" Aaron didn't flinch. "I didn't claim her, I answered her." The court gasped. Yria stepped forward, voice trembling but proud. "It was I who asked him." The hall fell silent. The king's face hardened. "Then let his actions speak for him. If the star core lives, he may live. If it died, he dies with it." Aaron nodded. "Then I'd better get to work." The heat of the core chamber was like fire from a god's breath. His suit screamed alarms, but he pressed on, repairing circuits, rerouting energy. When systems began to fail, he entered the core itself, human flesh against divine machinery. Hours later, the light dimmed, then blazed anew. Ara lived. They found him collapsed, barely breathing. Yria stayed by his side for days, until his eyes opened. "You made it," she whispered. He smiled weakly. "Told you I'd bring it back." Weeks later, under twin suns, the king declared peace. And when Yria asked again, Aaron took her hand and said, "Yes, always. 2 hearts, 2 worlds. One word that changed everything.